Casting stations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
As I was walking down the street one day.
Welcome in. The NFL has begun. And Motown gets some new RESPECT, some new respect. U.S. Open. It's winding down. We got one American in the final. That would be the new sensation, the new young star for America. That is Coco Gauff, who's making the most of her time in New York City. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for the other American who blew a big lead. We'll talk about that in a second. And the big story this morning, just over about a half hour ago, the USA out. Well, they get to play in the bronze medal game against Canada, but they're not in the final. They got ousted today by Germany, 113-111. I watched a bunch of that game. Their defense was poor. And, you know, here's the one thing. I know this is not the team that will be at the Olympic Games, and that's what the purpose of this whole FIBA World Cup was to establish who's going to make the Olympic game bracket on this side of the world. And so they're in, but they were supposed to win it all anyway. The rest of the world is caught up with the United States. Maybe not at the very, very, very top level, so when the major stars play in Paris in the Olympic Games next year, it'll be a little bit different. I suspect Jaren Jackson Jr., and we were all hoping this was going to be his real coming out, that he was going to be major. And you know what? I'm going to give him a lot of credit. Stuff that is not in the statistical categories, great screening, wonderful defense, and he did. They had him on Dennis Schroeder a bunch of the game. And then, you know, actually Germany was making switches to get him off sort of a couple of times to exploit Austin Reeves. It wasn't exactly a poor showing by Jaren Jackson Jr. I don't think it was. But it was not a great showing. And I doubt he will be on the team that represents the United States at the Olympic Games. They did not play poor defense except for Jaren Jackson Jr. They did not play good defense except for Jaren Jackson Jr. today. Couldn't shoot threes. They made one of their first six. They hit their last two in a comeback effort. It's just amazing to me. 3 guys on that German team, really 4. 3 guys had 20, and Schroeder didn't have double-digit points, but he had double-digit assists. And you know what? Down the stretch, when they really had to have a bucket, they set him up. He went to his right. Nobody could stop him. You have the Franz Wagner. You have the Wagner brothers. You got this guy. It looks like it's Theus, but it's Tyus. He's a beast. J-Mo. Where does he play?
Played for the Celtics. He was a key for the Celtics till he got hurt last year. He was
the guy that got hurt. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a very good team. Now they're going to play Serbia in the final. That team upset Lithuania when they got to the knockout round. And they do this without Jokic. You know, maybe the best player in the NBA, Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets, did not play, but I'll tell you who did. Bogdan Bogdanovic. He had 25 in a game, something like that. No, he had 23, I'm sorry. And they beat a Canadian team that had Dylan Brooks, right? They had RJ Barrett, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They were all on Team Canada. Barrett had the most points today, but they beat Canada. So now Canada plays the U.S. in the bronze medal game. We'll see what kind of pride these guys have. And it's Serbia versus Germany. And I have to say, I'd make Germany the favorites in that particular game. But it was surprising. This team Germany wanted it more. The USA tried to make their comeback. USA's defense was poor. I don't think I can say anything else other than that.
I think they got dominated all tournament by teams with physicality inside, and it really is a shame. I mean, you got to have five. I mean, all this emphasis on perimeter basketball, I think, quite frankly, that's 2 steps behind already. The best teams in the league have big. I know this is international basketball, but I think it applies directly. The best teams in the league have big physical fives. The top 3 guys in the MVP voting were big physical fives. That's where the league is going. And I almost think you're 1 step behind if you're not at that point yet, because the next step we're going to is moving stretch 4s back to the 3 and playing super big 3 through 5. So that's the direction that the world basketball is going, clearly, the way they're coaching these guys, and it's doing them a great service to beat an American team that has a way larger pool of players to choose from, but they're coaching them up. Serbia has the best youth coaching in the world.
Keep in mind, and I don't disagree with anything that you have said thus far, except for this, that you've got to remember. You talk about that pool, the best players did not play. Now, Edwards is going to be on that team next year. There's no doubt about that. Halliburton might be on that team next year. I don't think Triple J is going to be on that team. I don't think Austin Reeves, who played really well, I don't think he's going to be on that team. You're going to get America's stars, especially now. This is kind of a little wake-up for them. It's a good thing, maybe, that if you really want to beat the world, now you better play your best players, because the rest of the world has caught up. And if you don't play your best, you're not going to win.
And I remember last year there was a piece about Serbian basketball. They are teaching guys. I mean, they have the best coaches in the world in Serbia coaching basketball. Truly, their developmental program is leaps and bounds beyond every
who
other
would have
country.
guessed, huh?
It's crazy, isn't it? But they're on their way.
All right, we got a lot of ground to cover. Glenn Rogers is going to join us in about 3 or 4 minutes. We're going to talk high school football as we always do. I'm going to touch on the NFL very quickly because we've got to do our pick 6 for college football and the NFL. 4 college football, 2 NFL. I did what you wanted. For the NFL, I got just the 2 games that we got are dogs, home dogs. So let me just say this. I actually felt bad for Patrick Mahomes last night, because Kansas City should have won the game. Now, Detroit's going to be good. They were good at the end of last year. They got a good quarterback. They got a great receiver in St. Brown. They stole David Montgomery from my Chicago Bears, and he came up with the big touchdown in the end. But really what undid the Kansas City Chiefs were the Kansas City Chiefs offensive receivers that just could not hold on to the ball. In particular, their first-round draft choice, Kadarius Toney. In the first half, when Kansas City looks like they can pull away, Toney literally takes a pass right to him and deflects it to a defensive back who goes for 40 yards for a touchdown, a pick 6 on a deflected pass that was right to him. And then at the end of the game, same guy, Toney, he's got a pass in his hands that's in field goal position in the last minute and a half to set up one of the better field goal kickers, Bucker, in the league. He drops it. And then there's penalties and all kinds of stuff that occurred. Detroit's going to be good. I think they're going to win the NFC Central, as I think we've said already, but they were handed one last night on Banner Night in Kansas City. Okay, quickly, before Glenn Rogers Jr. joins us, let's do this. Let's start pick 6 college football. Ole Miss at Tulane. There's a home dog, Tulane. Ole Miss getting 7.5 points. Give me, and I said this earlier, it's a hard place to play. They actually are going to have, I think it's 28,000 as a sellout, already sold out. It's going to be almost all green. Very little Ole Miss, red or blue. I like the green wave.
I really don't. I don't know much about college football, but I don't think Tulane is very good. Really, just looking at who they returned, just that one quarterback, really. And I know
that quarterback's good.
He's very good, but 11 guys. I'm gonna take Ole Miss on this one.
You're giving me 7.5. Texas at Alabama. The home team is favored by 7. Give me the Crimson Tide.
I'm taking the points in this one. I think both of these teams are extremely overrated. I don't like either of them. I'm taking the under, and give me Texas plus the points.
A&M at Miami. Another home dog. I'm going Home dog. Give me Miami.
I'm going to take A&M. I don't think I can
we
bet
are
this.
Totally different on everything.
Yeah,
we were
tough one.
exactly the same last week. It's amazing. By the way, I am 6-3. You're 4-5. Is that correct? Yeah,
that's right.
Final game: Nebraska at Colorado. The surprising Buffalo are 2.5-point favorites. I am gonna take the home team. I'm gonna believe in Coach Prime until I'm proven wrong. And Nebraska figures out a way to lose games, even with Matt Rule. They did it last week, for sure.
I agree. I'm going with Colorado as well. This line movement has all the sharps taking Nebraska. It's possible that the line that was set in July was wrong. We didn't know enough about Colorado. Colorado has better players. Give me Colorado.
San Francisco in the National Football League, a 2.5-point favorite at Pittsburgh. You love the home dogs. I have done the home dogs almost every time here. Not this time, my friend. I like the Niners. You know that. I think the Niners have a chance to go again to the Super Bowl. Give me San Francisco.
I think I'm definitely taking the Steelers this week. There's really not a favorite I like in the NFL this week, and the Steelers includes. I'm taking Steelers.
And Dallas 3.5 at New York. The Giants are the home dog. I'm taking the home dog in this one.
Me too. I'm taking the Giants in this one as well.
So we disagreed on the first three. And then we agreed on the final three. We're sitting in.
You were on the Niners, right? I was on the Steelers.
Oh, that's right. We disagreed on 4 of the 6.
That's right.
Okay. Glenn Rogers Jr., high school football. He was very good last week. You realize he was 5-1 in these picks? 5-1 in these picks.
We need to be listening to the coach here. He knows what he's talking about.
Well, he was bragging about that to me this morning on the phone. I had to remind him there was no line, and we're not going to do a line on high school football, I can tell you that. In the meantime, I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. It's back and bigger than ever, that world's biggest spa sale. 50 different models, 5 different manufacturers. Please, go see my friend Billy. Go see Lindsay. Go see the crew, because it's the world's biggest spa sale at I-40 and Wooden Road at Family Leisure. I'm sitting here in the Family Leisure studio and thinking about the pre-owned cars that they have at Highway 78 Lamar and the first exit in Mississippi Craft Road. And by the way, it's easy to get there now. They fixed that road up. They're still doing a little bit of work, but I'm telling you, 3 times, 4 times faster than it used to be. Once you make that left-hand turn on Craft Road and you see my friends at Homer Skelton Hyundai, our title sponsor, you're going to smile because the prices on pre-owned cars have come down. And the product, you know how good those Hyundais are. They got a lot of them on the lot, like pre-COVID levels. They got Genesis cars. Not every Hyundai dealership can sell that wonderful luxury car Genesis, and I love that car. Somebody asked me about it the other day. I had to tell them what a great ride it is. And you better watch out with that G70 because that little sports car is a rocket ship. And they got a deal on it. If you finance with Genesis, you get a $1,000 rebate. Go see all my friends at Homer Skelton Hyundai. All right, let's get into some high school football. Glenn Rogers Jr., he's got a big game tonight. Maybe we'll start right there because he's not going to pick that game. We know he's going to pick his own team. And that would be Chattanooga McCauley 3-0 at MUS 3-0. That'll be a huge crowd tonight, a great atmosphere for sure at Park and at Ridgeway. I think the commercial appeal picks you slightly to win this game to be 4-0. Coach, when's the last time the Owls were 4-0?
Good morning, Dave and Jay, and all our listeners. It's been a couple of years. Maurice Hampton's senior year, we finished the season 10-0, and so. We got our work cut out. McCauley's, they're the number 1 ranked team in the state by a couple of polls. And quarterbacks committed to Vanderbilt. They got a DB committed to Virginia Tech. So it'll be a good test for us. But that's why you come here to school at MUS, to play these type of games and get challenged. So we're excited. Our kids are excited. And like you said, Dave, it'll be a great, great atmosphere tonight here at the Whole Dogs.
I will tell you, that is why. These guys got to come all the way. If you were, here's what I meant to say. You were talking about the last time you were 4-0 and your star, the two-way player.
Yeah.
You just said his name, and now I'm going blank on it because I was
Maurice Hampton.
Maurice. People might be wondering because he signed with the Tigers to play football and baseball. He hasn't played football in a couple of years. Apparently, he's injured, so he's probably not going to play this year. If anybody has been wondering, key for you tonight against Macaulay.
Well, that last week, Dave, in our victory up in Montgomery Bell, we did a poor job of stopping the run. We gave up 178 yards to the rusher last week, so we got to get that shored up and make this guy beat us with his arms. And so, we got to stop the run offensively. We got to be able to make throws like we did last week when they load the box up. Quarterback Brady Hughes got to make throws, and he did that last week. So we got to keep the defense on. And I'm gonna tell you, Dave, it's the good old adage all coaches talk about. The kicking game is going to be key tonight. It's going to be key. We were backed up all last week in our own territory, and we had to get the field turn and the field position turn, and luckily we did that in the second half. But the kicking game tonight is going to be huge because McCauley's got a real good offense and a good defense.
Well, McCauley's offense, I know, is one of the better offenses in the state, and you guys have one of the better defenses in the state. So whichever one of those specialties sort of dominates the game, I think that's how that team will end up winning. That's how that game
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Region opener, Southwind 3-0, Munford 3-0. That might be the high school game of the week. Break that one down for me, Coach. Who do you like?
I tell you, Southwind is one of the Cinderella stories of this year. Coach Griffin has got those guys poised and to make a big run. And, Munford is always, the last couple of years, they've been good. They've been right up there at the top of the Dandy Dozen. And like you said, for two teams, 3-0, something's got to give. And I tell you, I'm going to pick Southwind tonight, Dave. I think Coach Griffin and those guys, Coach Lester, they have those guys ready to go. And they got a dynamic dual-threat quarterback that's making plays all over the place. I'm picking Southwind to win this ball game tonight.
Wow, in Munford, that's a bold statement. 2-1 Whitehaven at 2-1 White Station. Whitehaven coming off a huge one. They put 50 on Arlington last week. White Station's only loss was to Christian Brothers in the last play of the game. They're an improved team, that's for sure. This is a terrific game. How do you see this one?
And Dave, White Station back on the rise. Coach Conley and Marcus Bell, the former Tigers coach of the D-line, really, really got them playing great defense. I watched them against Christian Brothers. I tell you, they had that ball game against Christian Brothers won. And they gave up a double reverse pass with 8 seconds to go in the game. And so I think Coach Conley's got those guys going in the right direction. But with Whitehaven's a powerhouse. Rodney Salisbury, his staff, I give the nod to Rodney's slight edge tonight. I think it'll be a tough, hard-fought 6-8 ball game. But I'm going with Coach Salisbury and his experience and those guys he got on that O-line. I think they'll open up enough holes tonight to give his backs running room to win that ball game.
I did not realize Marcus Bell is now at White Station as an assistant. Was a terrific motivator when he was like a grad assistant at the U of M. All right.
Yep.
Murfreesboro, Middledale, 2-1. Germantown, number 1 of the Dandy Dozen, fresh off a victory by 1 over their rival Houston. They're 3-0. This one should go down to the wire. How do you see it?
Well, Gene Robinson, we said this before, one of the best coaches in the area, probably in the country. Tough win last week. They blocked an extra point to secure the Houston win, and that was a slugfest last week. They were two great defenses going at it, and I expect the same thing tonight. He'll have his defense poised and ready to go. They'll make enough plays on offense. They'll be 4-0 out there tonight. I think they keep that train on the track and keep it rolling.
Germantown a winner at home, I agree. Bartlett at Arlington. Arlington's 2-1, but so is Bartlett. Bartlett plays really good defense. Arlington just got 50 scored upon them by Whitehaven last week. You got to figure Bartlett's going to win this game, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think, Bartlett went into Colleyville last week. A huge win, close ball game. They pulled it out 38-35 with a good Colleyville offense they were going up against. And I think Bartlett goes into Arlington tonight and keeps rolling to get back, keep that 2-game win streak rolling, and come out of there tonight with a big-time victory at Auburn.
Cordova 2-1 with their old new coach, right? The guy that came back. They're taking on Houston, a very good team. They have 2 losses. They're 1-2. The 2 losses by a total of 3 points. So you got 2-1 versus 1-2, and I think it's a toss-up. How do you view it?
Well, I think Houston will get back on the winning track today, Dave. I think it was a tough, heartbreaking defeat last week in the extra point block. Lost a tough game down in Mississippi versus South Panola. South Panola was leading most of that game, and Houston came roaring back. I think Coach James gets that team back on the winning ways, winning track, with some good hard running from the 2 dynamic running backs and playing on that aggressive style defense. I think they'll get back on the winning road tonight against a tough Cordova team. Coach John Dowden, second step back at Cordova, is doing an excellent job. But I think he'll run up against a buzzsaw tonight with Houston coming off that tough loss to Germantown.
Final game, Kevin LeCastro had a bye week after the loss that they had to Bartlett. They're 1-1. They take on an ECS team 1-2, but it's at ECS. Final game, break it down.
Well, I think Coach LeCastro, coming off that tough loss to Bartlett early in the season for a bye week, but I'm guaranteed they got some things shored up. And, Coach Butler, Blake Butler, over at ECS, first-year guy, Keith Butler's son, coming down from Trinity Christian and out of Jackson, Tennessee, got ECS rolling. I think Kevin and them will get the ship righted tonight against a tough ECS opponent and pull it out toward the end.
He is our coach. That's Glenn Rogers Jr. on high school football. Go see his team tonight. That's going to be a great game right there at the corner of Ridgeway and Park. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Dave and Jay. Appreciate it. And go Tigers, go and go Owls.
Yeah. Go Tigers in Jonesboro tomorrow. I didn't even get to that. We'll try to get it a little bit later. There is an announcement, and I think this is interesting because we just made our picks, right? This is, I've never heard of this before. There's a company called Prohibet, Prohi, capital Bet, all one word. It's a sports data integrity solution. The American has just come up with a partnership with them. It provides monitoring software and tools that will play a pivotal role in preventing student athletes, coaches, and staff from engaging in prohibited sports wagering. Prohibit's technology provides a secure and transparent method for sports properties and sportsbook operators to ensure that student athletes, coaches, and staff remain compliant with intricate state regulations that govern sports betting activities. First I've ever heard of this. Software like that to protect you?
Never heard of that before.
Colleges need that, right? The NFL might need that. We saw somebody get bagged. Who just got bagged for betting?
It was Jameson Williams for the Lions, right, that was betting.
Right.
I think they work in conjunction with the sports books too, but colleges don't have that luxury, I'm afraid. So this is a really good system.
This portion of the show brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Team, the collaborating way, whether it's for your home, your car, life insurance. They get to know you and your family, figure out what's important. Figure out what your budget is. And then Matt and his team figure out the perfect protection. Same thing if you've got a small to mid-sized business. Commercial insurance is right up his alley with those size of businesses. He's going to get to know you, your product, your employees, what your budget is, what's important, forecast you out, and then protect you. All you got to do is call 901-386-GERD. That's 4777. They got that in there. Number because they just are big Tiger supporters. 901-386-GER. Get protected with the Eflin Insurance Team. And if you got a cooling or a heating system on the fritz, if you got a dripping faucet, anything that's kind of in trouble with electricity, call the pros at Conway, and they'll waive the service fee call with any HVAC or plumbing repair. Expert technicians available 7 days a week. All you got to do is call 384-3511, schedule an appointment, tell them you want the free one that you heard about right here on Sports 56. Or you can visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. Back in a minute to Chicago we go. Our agent from Priority Sports is Andy Schiffman, and we'll talk about this USA loss when we come back.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRIEND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Ever thought how lucky you'd be if you could see what was going to happen before it actually got here? That would be fun. We'd make a lot of money as long as we weren't stopped by Prohibit. Sheldon Rosengarten, you know my guy Sheldon with Mark Spensdorf. Now, he can't tell you what will happen in the future real estate market, but he can sell a home no matter what the market's like. That's the cool thing. Doesn't matter what the thing is, what's going on, he figures it out with that strategy. He's only been doing it for 100 years. So no matter what the market is like, he will help you, whether the interest rates are rising or falling or the inventory is increasing or decreasing. He's done it for so long, he knows what to do and when with that highly successful strategic marketing program. So crazy as it may sound, talk to 2 or 3 people. Just make sure he's one of them, and then you'll be sold, and you'll get to the closing table quicker. 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. Get it done with Sheldon Rosengarten, Marks Bensdorf. To Chicago we go. What a bummer this morning. The USA to the bronze medal game. They lose to a German team that frankly played better than they did. USA porous defense, couldn't shoot from the outside. But Andy Schiffman, this will not be the team we see in Paris next year, right?
Look, I don't believe it will be. I think they'll add some other pieces. Obviously, they're without Brandon Ingram. But all credit goes to the German national team. They're laden with stars. They've got our guy Dennis Schroeder on the team.
Yep.
They've got Daniel Theis. They've got Franz Wagner, obviously. I've got another player there, Mauro Loh, who's a German player who plays for Milan in Italy, EuroLeague highest level. And then the star of the show, that most NBA fans probably do not know or never heard of and watched him light it up from deep was Andy Obst, who is a big-time German player who plays for Germany's best team in the EuroLeague Munich. So it's not like they're out there, USA, playing a bunch of scrubs. Is it an upset? For sure, but they're full of good players, this German national team.
No doubt about it. Now you just mentioned Obst, and he led everybody today with 24. He hit some big threes.
Points, yeah,
big threes. What kind of money does he make with the top German team? Why is he not a guy that could play in the NBA? It seems to me he could. Look what he just did to some of the USA's best.
Yeah, he's had interest among NBA teams in the past. It never really materialized into a big-time deal. Why? I don't know. I don't represent him. I just know he's a good player. He has played in Germany his whole career. He's one of these young guys that grew up playing with the youth teams in Germany and just has kind of gone through that system. What kind of money he makes, my guess is he's probably maxed out at before taxes between $500,000 and $600,000, and he's not some high seven-figure, mind-boggling number player because the two top teams in Germany, Munich and Berlin, they just don't have the budgets that you see from some of these other top European clubs like Milan, where I mentioned, Monaco, where Mike James played and Kemba Walker signed. I have a player there, Barcelona, Madrid. So his value is within Germany. He's got that German passport that helps. Maybe there's interest outside of Germany here and there, but I think he's probably someone that's just mostly comfortable there and has carved out a nice career for himself within Germany. And look, he had the game of his life. I'm not saying the guy's this is an anomaly. He's been a good player throughout his entire career. He's been a 40+% three-point shooter throughout his career, definitely last season with Munich. But this is for sure the game of his career that he's had tonight.
So do you think he parlays this into a better European contract? Or do you
Well, he's already under contract with Munich. So maybe in the long run, if he goes out and does this, could he be poached by one of the bigger budget European teams next summer?
Yeah.
Definitely. It could. But right now, he still is with Munich.
What about the NBA? Could he play in the NBA?
It'd be tough. I think he's probably turned some heads. I don't necessarily put all this stock in this one game and say, oh my gosh, why is this guy not in the NBA? Now you look at the flip side, so we represent Sasha Vezenkov, who was MVP of EuroLeague, played with a team in Greece along with our guy Tarek Black this past season, Olympiacos, and he got a deal this offseason, guaranteed deal this offseason with the Sacramento Kings. And he is a 6'9", athletic, perimeter-oriented wing that fits what the NBA is all about. I think Obst is probably a little more I think he's around 6'3", probably just more of a, I don't want to say, I hate to use the term one-dimensional because he's so good at what he does, shooting the ball today. But defensively, what is he going to do at the NBA level? Can he put together that sort of season? Again, if he goes back to Munich and all of a sudden they're a EuroLeague playoff contender, Final Four contender, and he's putting up 16 to 20 points a game, shooting the ball 45% from three, making plays off the dribble, then it becomes a conversation.
You brought him up, so let me just ask you, what's up with Tarek Black?
He is about to have baby number 3.
Oh, wow.
In a couple of months, and we've had some opportunities over the summer, but nothing has really come across that has got us so excited that makes Tarek want to get up and go over to a European preseason training camp, which that all kicked off last month. So unless something amazing comes up right now, Dave, we're more content to sit and wait and let his wife rather have this baby come November and then maybe sign halfway through the season in December and January somewhere to help a European team out, which he has done in the past. He did that in Turkey a couple of years ago. He did that in Russia. So I think we'll probably be in that position to do that, finish out the season somewhere in Europe, hopefully on a high-level team again, playing for the last 4 or 5 months of the season.
I'm curious. Did you say Russia? After the Brittany Griner deal, would players still play at Russia?
Well, keep in mind, Tarek was there prior to all this, prior to the Brittany Griner deal, prior to obviously what's going on with Ukraine and the war. We've had a lot of players there prior to all of that. Since then, we've had a couple players there. So, yeah, they will. you have to get with the right situation, the right team. And realistically, Dave, there are 4 teams in Russia that can pay money, attractive enough money to American players to want to get them to go over there, knowing what is going on in the world right now. I think it's less about the Brittany Griner situation, at least for our clients, just because our clients aren't going to go over there with
smoked dope,
with anything that would be a red flag. Exactly. I think the bigger issue is, hey, is it safe over there? What's going on with the war? I had an opportunity 2 summers ago to place a player there and make a lot of money, $500,000 after taxes. So it probably was going to be north of $700,000 to go over there, and he didn't want to do it because the war was kicking off and he just felt unsafe, which I completely understand.
I do too. If I were the agent of any player, if you're listening, Tarek, listen to me. It's not safe. It's not pro-American over there these days. I would avoid that.
Well, you have to, again, there's a lot of factors at play, right? Because if you're a player, that's your only option and you need money, that's the way to do it. And you have to make sure you're safe first and foremost. And in my dealings with these teams, when I negotiate these contracts, I always make sure there's language in these contracts, Dave, that allow us the ability to leave if something were to happen. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Get up and go. We'll work out all the details and contracts and payments secondarily, but the first the primary factor in all this and the first priority is the player's safety.
And people should remember you were a lawyer in another life. Okay.
That's true.
Jaren Jackson Jr. had a chance to make this a showcase for him. I don't think he failed. I think he played really good D. I thought he sealed really beautifully on screens. His help out D was great. He blocked shots. This was not a great defensive team, at least the one I saw today, but he was the best of that side of the ball, I thought. But a lot of people thought this was going to be a showcase for him. Sort of grade out what you think happened for Jaren Jackson Jr. and his experience on this USA team. And keep in mind, they still have a bronze medal game against Canada.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, right? Did he really stand out as the star of this team and break through? No, but he wasn't a liability. And he did what he's supposed to do. He did what he does in the NBA. I think more than anything, this experience will give him so much momentum and confidence going into the NBA preseason and the NBA regular season with Memphis. And we're not talking about some player that, again, I used this term earlier, breaking through where he's virtually an unknown, and now all of a sudden, because of this, he's on the map. He's not an Andy Ops for Germany, right? Ops, rather. He's the defensive player of the year. He has a nice contract. He's a star with the Grizzlies, realistically their second option behind Ja. So, again, I think more than anything, and I had the same conversation with Santi Aldama with Spain, and their goals fell short. Obviously, his World Cup experience has ended sooner than we would have liked. But, again, it gives these young players confidence. And Santi's nowhere yet quite on the level of Jaren, but now going into year 3, again, he has momentum, he has confidence. So I think Jaren hopefully can use this experience to get off to a quick start with the Grizzlies, because he's going into preseason having played a lot of meaningful minutes on a global stage, a lot of meaningful games, whereas everyone else besides, I guess everyone else in this Grizzlies roster, no one else has that, right? They're kind of going in and transitioning into another NBA season, and Jaren's kind of, hey, I've already kind of hit my stride here. And it's the same thing with Santi, right? Hopefully I'm already kind of hitting my stride, having played some significant minutes in significant games in the World Cup. So I don't really get too excited necessarily with what I've seen from Jaren, but I also don't get concerned. I just think it's going to give him a lot of momentum and confidence.
But by the way, Ja and Jaren were picked by CBS.net. Top duo under 25. Behind them, Banchero and Franz Wagner at Orlando. I know Edwards and Jaden McDaniels from Minnesota. I think they were 4th. And I want to say the group from the Cavs. Garland and Evan
Mitchell. Oh, Evan Mobley. Yeah.
That they were third, then Edwards and McDaniels. You agree? Disagree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Jaws, when he's on the court, there's no one that can stop him, and he's shown that. And he's a very exciting player. I do agree with that. I think Orlando, and you mentioned Banchero and Wagner, like they are going to be contending for a playoff spot this year. They are an exciting young team to watch. They've done a great job developing their young players. Maybe they move Jalen Suggs at the trade deadline, Cole Anthony, get some other veteran pieces in return. We'll see. But I think they're going to have a chance to sniff the playoffs. Cleveland, I think, is going to be very good. They needed shooting this offseason, and they added two of our clients who are the absolute top upper echelon three-point shooters in the league, and Max Strus and George Niang. So I think they're going to take a huge jump, and really, I think they're really going to be in a position to contend for an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. Kind of stop short of anything beyond that because you still have the Milwaukees, you still have the Philadelphias of the world, but I think Boston, obviously, but I think they're going to be right there in one of the top four teams in the East. And again, you didn't hit on it because, look, they've struggled, and obviously they have a lot of injuries with their stars lately, but keep an eye on this Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham duo when they are healthy. I think they're another up-and-coming young team that, again, when they are healthy, and if you can get Cade Cunningham healthy, they are an exciting team. I thought they were also going to compete for a playoff berth last season, but before Cade's injury. So again, when they're healthy, they're also
don't forget their big guy.
Don't
forget their big guy too.
Well, you got two Memphis products there,
That's right.
Jalen Duren and James Wiseman.
That's right. Okay. Last thing, real quick. I think it was a good wake-up call for the United States because they always then get their better players to play in the Olympic Games. I know it's disappointing, but who do you think will be on the big stars? Who will play on that USA team in Paris next year?
That's a good question. I was about to ask you the same thing in your thoughts. Do you see? I just don't think we'll see a LeBron. And do we see a Durant? Maybe I could see Devin Booker.
You should see Durant for sure.
You should. I mean, Anthony Davis. You know, I think he could be a guy.
I think you should see him too. I don't think about LeBron because let's face it, LeBron's going to be on the backside. I mean, if he has an unbelievable year, you might think about it.
Unless he looks at it and says, "This is my last hurrah, last opportunity to go out there and represent my country."
I think Edwards will be on that team.
I think
become
Edwards
a star
for sure. I would try and keep Austin Reeves there. You saw it even today off the bench. I think he had 21 points.
Yeah.
I would try and keep them in that Team USA system.
Ingram, Halliburton,
Devin Booker.
I think Bridges was a disappointment. I don't think he'll be on it.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson, is he a
maybe? I don't know.
Fixture? Our guy Bobby Portis, is he a fixture?
What about a guy like Kyrie Irving?
I think he should play. Will he play? I don't know. I don't know.
You know what? If I were him, I would try to restore my brand, which he's lost. And I would do that. Anyway, just food for thought. We'll know more as time expires.
I'd love to see Harden play. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, me too. But maybe not for us. He's a cancer guy. Sorry.
Yeah. I hear you.
Andy Schiffman, we'll talk more next week. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks, Dave.
That's our NBA guy, our agent in Chicago. That is Andy Schiffman. Brought to you in part by Miramichi. What a weekend. Did you see? Low 80s. Low 60s, low humidity, golden sunlight fall this year. That means the best time to play golf. And one of the best places is Miramichi in Woodstock, 12 minutes away from downtown, 19 minutes from my driveway in East Memphis. It's not far. And it's worth going there because the back nine is like taking a walk through the woods. All 18 are beautiful, but there's a meandering stream and there's a waterfall, and it's just gorgeous. I can't tell you anything more, and competitive. Over 7,000 yards if you want, 5 different tee boxes, best practice facilities of any public, maybe any golf course in Memphis. Go check it out. The great Miramichi, and I don't know if they serve any of the Grind City Brewing products. I know they do have beer there. They have alcohol there. They should have either Poppy's Pills, what the doctor ordered, the Pilsner, that comes from the Memphis Brewery. It is a taste of Memphis. Then there's the Godhopper. You've all heard of that pale ale. I know you have, and I know you like it. It's their number 2 seller. 2 new products that you might like. The Amber Lager called Thaddeus, and the Blue Moon kind of thing. Belgian-style wheat ale. It's called the Belga. You'll love that. You'll love everything about Grind City. You can get it at the brewery downtown, which is a really cool adventure for anybody who wants to go there. Great picnic grounds. Or you can buy it at like the Spirit Shop that's all over town. Anybody that has local beer, they've got Grind City, that's for sure. Who knows? They may even have it at Miramichi. I know we have Brian Thakis. We'll talk Tiger football. We'll talk Mikey Williams. Lots still to cover on Wolo and Friends.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
We're in the break room at a traditional jewelry store here. Hey, Mark, I know it's our job here to try and sell every piece of jewelry, but don't sell this ring. I'm going to try to use my employee discount to buy it for my wife.
Okay, but you know you can get a better deal at Genesis Diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds? Are you crazy? Better not let the boss hear you.
All I'm saying is I got a pair of diamond stud earrings there for my wife and paid a lot less than what we charge here, even after my employee discount.
Wow, really? You never know who you'll see shopping at Genesis Diamonds. With no middleman pricing on the best selection of diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bands, and bracelets, it's a no-brainer. I admire your dedication to our jewelry store and not going to Genesis. I know the boss really appreciates your loyalty.
It's just the right thing to do, man.
And it's nice your wife won't mind getting a smaller diamond.
On second thought, can you cover me while I take a break?
Genesis Diamonds, the smart alternative to old-fashioned jewelry shopping. With more selection, lower prices, higher quality, stronger warranties, and zero pressure at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Hi, everyone. Greg Gaston for FanDuel. Add a little excitement to your sports watching experience by betting on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique fun bet types like same-game parlay, and exclusive always-on promotions such as enhanced odds boosts on the biggest events to let you get more action out of every game day. And if you win, they even get you your winnings safely in as little as 24 hours. If you've never tried FanDuel Sportsbook, what are you waiting for? Just go to FanDuel.com, use Gas Manager promo code to get in on the action. All in an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Just go to FanDuel.com, again, use Gas Manager promo code to join now or sign into your FanDuel Sportsbook account. Must be 21 or over, present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit is required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
I touched on the U.S. Open a little earlier. I felt so bad for Madison Keys. I mean, she had Arina Sabalenka dead, and she let her slip away. Now Sabalenka against the new darling of the tennis world, Coco Gauff. That'll be tomorrow. I hate to say this because I really want Gauff, and I think Gauff is going to win a bunch of majors. But I think Sabalenka hits the ball too hard. And then today you got the semis for the men. Shelton, the young son of a pro, Brian Shelton. He's taking on Djokovic. You know, that's like minus 2,000. That one's going to – they've never played. That's the wild card. But Joker's going to be in Alcaraz and Medvedev. Here's my prediction on that. Medvedev goes crazy. He might quit. He'll have an injury. Something crazy will happen. Alcaraz wins that. Can't wait for that final on Sunday. Let me bring in Brian Dacus, our good friend. I want to talk Tiger football with you, but we got to get the update on Mikey Williams. Again, last night at the golf tournament deal that's for the Southern Heritage Classic, Penny lends his name to it. He was there for the banquet. Sure. Spoke to reporters again and tracked him down there and basically said, no, Mikey, we're still with Mikey. Yep. We think Mikey's registered. It's online for classes. I don't see how Mikey Williams plays this year, personally.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems hard. I mean, with everything that's gone on with this whole situation, I mean, we originally thought the preliminary hearing was going to be in July, then it was postponed until September, and then we thought we were going to get it the other day. It was postponed again. So I think it'll be hard. I mean, and with classes, I mean, he could very well be doing online classes from his house in California to kind of stay on track if something happens. But, I mean, you think with this preliminary hearing now happening October 10th, I mean, the earliest he'd be able to get here if everything goes the way you want it to go would be probably later that week. So you're thinking October 12th, October 13th. So then you're with the team less than a month before the first game of the season, and that's if everything goes right. And it hasn't gone that way so far. So if I had to bet, I would say he's probably not with the team this year. But for Penny, I mean, this is something that he's stuck to from the very beginning, and I don't think he's gonna shy away from it now. And so I think that's why you got that answer that you did yesterday. And I think in Penny's mind, I think in an ideal world, Mikey is with this team, and I think he really wants him to be a part of this team. But I just think it's going to be very tough.
Well, first of all, he's got to be in San Diego, right?
Yes.
And people think he's got a house here, and I don't know if he does or he does not. Yeah. But you can take courses online now.
Right.
And what was he did this little thing on Instagram or on Twitter, one of the two, where he said, they tell me I'm too famous to go to classes in person, which is garbage. But I think the reason is he can't because he's got to stay in San Diego, but you can still take classes, make yourself eligible. I couldn't possibly see him. Now, if he's in classes, he could maybe play second semester. Would he redshirt? Would he, if he gets off, would he go just say, forget this? I'll go to G League Elite, and then I'll play in the NBA next year if I'm good enough? Or maybe he realizes I'm really not ready for the NBA. I do need college. Maybe redshirt's a whole year. Do you have any inkling, any idea?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you brought that point up earlier this week when kind of this news came down about maybe he could come in and play in that second semester, and that's definitely an idea. But you're right. I mean, there's so many options now for these young players to go play, and so there might be something else that he ends up doing if it's too late and things just get crossed. But at the same time, I mean, Mikey, obviously a lot of people are very excited about him. He's a flashy player. He can score at a very high clip. But when you look at some of the players in previous classes that are coming in at the same or similar rankings as him, for them to just one and done and go to the NBA is very low. A lot of those guys need a couple of years. And so I think he'll likely be in some sort of college or G League Ignite somewhere for a couple of years before going pro. And I would love for that to be Memphis, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, and let's be honest. He's not a five-star guy.
No.
He's really a four-star guy who got famous because of dunks and then more famous because he became sort of a social media influencer. He's clearly, from anything I've ever seen, not ready to be an NBA guy.
No.
Not by any means.
Because, like you said, that kind of celebrity status around him, he kind of gets that label of he's going to be a superstar and one and done. He's going to be a great player, I think, but I do think he's going to need a couple of years to develop.
In the meantime, no word on DeAndre Williams. I guess that'll play out for another week or however long it takes. Let's talk Tigers, Arkansas State. Arkansas State's line, you realize they have their offensive line weighs 21 pounds more than Memphis's offensive line?
Big offensive line.
It's huge. They got a very good secondary. They got a whole bunch of Power 5 transfers, some on their third school, like their quarterback who was at Tennessee, was a 5-star out of high school, went to Colorado. When Coach Prime cut everybody, he found this place. I mean, this line of 21.5 is a crazy line. It's their first home game, first road game for Memphis. So I think Memphis is going to take care of business, but I think that line is crazy.
Well, it's a weird situation. I heard Jay Morgan bring this up on Tuesday. Just the fact that Memphis has their first game against Bethune-Cookman. They take care of business. They win the way you wanted them to win. It was a very easy win. It was never a doubt that they were going to win that game. But on the other side, Arkansas State gets blown out by Oklahoma, and now they go back home. You know, a lot of those guys are going to be fired up to one, play at home, and then two, they're going to want revenge. They're going to want to show that we're not that same team. That's not us. You know, what we put out in week one is not the team who we're going to be. But also on the other side for Memphis, you hope they don't get caught up in the, okay, we just had a very easy win, and then we're going to go on the road and play a team that just got blown out 73-0, and kind of that complacency that can get into you. So I think they take care of business, but 21.5 on the road is a massive number.
Well, here's the thing. They got killed 73-0. Yeah. They quit.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody's going to say they didn't. I understand that when they arrived in Jonesboro after that trip, the whole team, not prompted by Butch Jones or any of the coordinators, they all said, let's go to the weight room. We're going to lift.
I believe it.
And we're going to prove to ourselves that this is not the team we are. I mentioned all those transfers. You realize that Butch Jones has had the last 3 top-rated Sun Belt classes in recruiting. He can recruit. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know. We'll see the disconnect. I do know this. Memphis did exactly what they should do. Mm-hmm. And for both sides now, I'm going to say this. You never know from one game.
That's right.
Memphis took care of business, but they showed some flaws. Mm-hmm. Arkansas State obviously showed a lot, but it's one game.
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah.
You can't gauge what's going to happen from here on out from that one game. I think it takes 3 or 4 to really know a team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so we're going to see a lot. I think this is going to be a good test for both of these teams. For Memphis, like you said, the first road game, first game against the FPS opponent. So it should be a lot of fun. I want to see what this run game does in the second week. I think Jay Ducker is expected to play this weekend. So
Skates might, Ducker will.
So I would love to see Skates as well with those receivers. But I'm excited. I like that 1-2 punch you had in week 1 with those running backs. So I'm excited to see what they can do.
Me too. All right, my friend, have a great weekend.
Thank you, Dave.
My weekend's here. All right, J-Mo, don't yawn. My weekend is here. I'm excited, not you. You're out. I know you probably drank up everything watching the U.S. Open, watching NFL football in Kansas City last night. So go see my buddy. Go see Eddie Connor at the Spirit Shop, so perfectly located, 4848 Poplar. That's Poplar in St. Nick, right in the heart of East Memphis. Right down from Clark Towers, that little log cabin. You've seen it 100 times. You wonder, how much stuff can they have in there? A bunch. Go see a perfect example of spatial engineering. I promise. They got so much stuff in there, and they'll give you an education on spirits. They'll tell you what's up and coming, what's a bargain right now. They also have rare bourbons and tequilas. Check out what's the best tasting vodka, what might work better as a martini. Eddie Connor and his crew, they've got all the answers for you. Just stop by the Spirit Shop. That'll do it for us. Johnny Radio is next. I'll talk to you from Jonesboro tomorrow. We'll do it again on Monday. Homer Skelton Hyundai.